All right. Welcome to the New Moon Chat. It is February. This is an Aquarius moon. And our intention this month is manifest, the alchemy of friendship. So before we seriously dive in, let's just do a quick introduction, just our names and our location. Where are we from right now? And I'll just go around in a circle to start. I am Ember. I am in Atlanta, Georgia. And let's see, Crystal Moon.
Sure.
If you can speak.
Yeah, I'm Crystal Moon, and I'm in Tucker, which is just outside of Atlanta.
Welcome. Christine.
Hi, I'm Christine, and I'm in Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. Thanks. Hi, Christine. Kathy.
Oh, I just muted myself. I'm Kathy, and I'm in Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky, the heart of the bluegrass.
And Jenny is in Brooklyn, New York. Jenny told me earlier that she has a sick kid, so even though she's on the call, she's also taking care of her baby. And apparently sickness is going around with the babies because our California counterpart is taking care of a baby and a daughter with the flu.
Oh no.
A baby and a grandbaby. Okay, so if you guys have candles, great. We could do this together, but I want to kick off this with our candle ritual. I'll give you a minute. If you do have one and want to light it together, I'll give you a second to pull it together, and then we'll start. All right, let this flame represent the wild spirit which burns within each of us. And as we awaken our own wild spirit, we can awaken the collective spirit. All right, so manifest. Manifest with the moon. We talk about manifest all the time. So it's interesting that all this time we've never had any intention of actual manifest. So we're going to do it in a piecemeal sort of way. So I'm thinking of manifest as a way to set an intention, set a goal, the steps that we take to achieve that goal, and who we incorporate to help create this beautiful new intention of ours. So the latter part is where the alchemy of friendship comes from. How we can connect with others on a deep, meaningful level to blossom and help grow our friendships and what our friendships mean to us. So what we do and who we do it with. And because we are in this new moon phase, we look at the shadow aspect of everything. So we're in this phase of the new moon, which technically is at 4:03 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. So we are in the first part of it, the early 24 hours prior to, and we'll have 24 hours after, to really utilize this new moon energy. But this is time for contemplation and meditation and really just thinking about what this means to us and how we want to proceed throughout the entire month and what we want to grow from this. What our intention really is to establish these friendships, to not only establish friendships, it could be to find a friendship, to strengthen a friendship, to release a friendship that is holding you back. I think friendship is kind of an interesting word nowadays with social media. Thank you, Facebook. Everybody's a friend, right? So what are the meaningful ones? And what are the ones that actually help? Oh, Crystal Moon, you've got a friend. Oh, is that your dog? Oh, beautiful. Yeah, so, okay, perfect example.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's good. Who is that?
It's my dog, Sadie.
Hi, Sadie.
I didn't think she would bother people.
Well, she's letting us know what a true friend is.
Yeah.
Jenny says that she likes the corporate language of work family being inauthentic. Yeah, isn't that the truth? Yeah, so those type of work relationships, what they mean, you know, are they true friendships, or are they something that just help us manifest our goal, our desire, and and how we look at those. So we're in Aquarius, and you know, we've got the Aquarius moon and the Aquarius sun. That's what happens on the new moon. So I love the Aquarius energy, and you guys jump in at any time. Yeah, I'm not doing just like a seminar or anything. I want us all to be extremely interactive, so please jump in at any time. But I love the Aquarius energy of this kind of it's the last of the air signs, so it's kind of like the most mature of the air signs, and being this all-knowing, all-seeing sign that sees a different perspective, yet is very unique. And being able to tap into that energy, those unique qualities within ourselves that we just came off freedom. So that freedom to be who we are, and to nurture relationships that actually help us develop further on our journey. So it's a masculine sign. And with the masculine energy of this water bearer, what do you guys, I'm throwing it in your plate now, what do you see? What comes up first? What bubbles up first in this feel and this thought of how we want to take this through the next month, what we want to manifest, and how we want to use friendship to do so?
So I want to talk just a minute about freedom, like our last sign, because, you know, we're still feeling some of that, like you said, some of that energy. And that was huge for me. Just, it just kept coming up over and over again, and everything it was connected to it. It was, even if it was a completely different word, it always went back to freedom. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so interesting. And yet, so, which was a great springboard for the friendship, because so just a little back step, talking about different friendships and everything, and because I've done hair professionally for 30 years and had lots of conversations over the years with my clients as well as my family about that at one point when my oldest son was a teenager, he said that your friends are not your clients. Or your clients, I'm sorry, that your clients are not your friends. And I was like, wow, you know, after 20 years of seeing somebody every single month for 20 years, some of them, I was like, that's kind of hurtful, actually, that you would say that, because, you know, friendship is a feeling, you know, or it can be a feeling, and it can be mutual, or it can be, you know, it's mostly, I mean, it's obviously, it should always be mutual, but, you know, some parts can feel stronger for one person than the other, and there's different degrees of friendship, like we just were talking about. And just the interesting fact of it just opens up a whole huge conversation of really, you know, how the friendship and just to manifest, like you said, just to actually be intentional with friendships, and just growing, how they can nurture, like you said, they can bring out the best in us or bring out the worst. And definitely in 2019, I feel like, you know, the collaboration with the friendships can really make the big difference, and just find out who your true friends are, and and grow that more and then develop along the way.
I like this whole idea of community working together for a goal, and it feels as though that's what it's coming back to. Jenny said, well said. I agree, Kathy. But yeah, how it's coming back to that, how it seems like we've been so isolated with social media for so long, but we're yearning for this nurturing compatibility, and something that a Facebook friend, even though there are some amazing ones, I'm sure we've all met people on social media and have had, really good friendships, but and been able to grow friendships too, or reconnect with friendships. But there is something about that face to face, that working together for a common goal and belief. I'm feeling it. I'm seeing it more.
Definitely.
And it's definitely one of my intentions.
I think
You're unmuted, Christine. Were you going to say something? You're unmuted.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know if we lost you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It went silent for a second, but I can hear you now. So go ahead.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something. No, I was.
Oh, well, I was, but whenever you're finished with your.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I really like what you said, Kathy, and I agree completely. I think this year is a big year for finding that encouragement in friendships, and really surrounding yourself with the right people. And it's just so funny that, not funny, but just synchronicities. I'm just starting to see them more and more. But because just today I was kind of feeling down about the lack of community that I have here. And I've always felt that when I moved to Costa Rica, Costa Ricans are very kind of closed off with their friends, a little bit more cliquey. And me being Costa Rican, I've always been like, wow, I wonder what it must be like for a foreigner that has no Costa Rican in them. It must be difficult. So I had friends visit me from Atlanta this weekend. And this is a friend I grew up with in Atlanta. But while her being here, we hadn't seen each other in a while. I mean, I saw her in Atlanta recently, but we hadn't spent time, like an extended amount of time in a while since high school. And so I just realized how much we'd grown apart and how just different we are. And it's not good, it's not bad per se at all, just that. And so I was really missing like my best friends that are kind of all over right now. And I was really missing that sense of community today. And so I called my best friend in Austin. We were talking about this all day today. I had an in-depth conversation about how important it is to surround yourself with the right people. And maybe you're not attracting the right people with your energetic field. Or maybe it's just time to focus on yourself and focus on your projects at the moment. And the trends will come, the community will come, just a matter of timing. And then I saw the numbers 00 twice today in two different circumstances. And I looked it up, and it was like a God's embrace, encouragement to keep moving on. Yeah. And so I was just like, huh. And then this chat, when I looked up the topic, because I hadn't seen it yet, I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect for what I need right now. So I just thought it was beautiful, and a kind of like a sign for me to not be down and to feel encouraged and to feel enthusiastic about continuing to find the friends that will help deepen my purpose, my life's purpose, and vice versa.
Nice.
Yeah, beautiful. Glad you're here, that you're a nice addition. And Crystal Moon, you are as well. And Jenny.
Thank you.
It's interesting that, and guys, chime in if anyone's experienced this, and I'm sure we all have in one way or another, but the freedom, I say that kind of jokingly, but the feeling, sometimes it feels to release that obligation that you have with someone as a friend that you know that is holding you back, or not holding you back. That even sounds selfish. And it's not that. It's more of, we move through different times in our life where I come from a background where I have a lot of friends that have been around for many, many years. But once in a while, it's time to release one. And that's always been very hard for me because I really hold on to them dearly. And it's been interesting to do that. There's one in particular, it's been years ago, it's been over a decade or more ago, but I was so connected with them, and I realized that my spirit just lifted the moment it happened. It was sad. It was rough. It was a difficult time. But the moment it occurred, not the moment, weeks, months after it occurred, it opened the doors to so many things. And it was so interesting of how I felt obligated to remain best friends and connected with them 100% and to give them all of my energy. And almost that was the beginning of the terminology now. And it wasn't at that time. It was kind of like the energy vampire. And I had to think, oh my gosh, was I sucking onto her? Was she sucking onto me? Were we leached onto each other out of fear of, I don't know, social anxiety or whatever the reason being? That was the reason, but talking metaphorically for everyone, why do we hold on to these relationships sometimes when it is time to nurture new ones, especially if we're going into new endeavors, if we're growing and blossoming?
Comfort. We always want comfort, in my opinion. I mean, like, that's naturally what we always go back to. I mean, and so until we create those new patterns, you're always going to go back to the comfort. And what's an old friend? Even if it's not a good one, it's like the person who beats you, it's like, you still love them, even though you hate what they're doing. But you've been conditioned to go back. And so, there's all levels of that, but that's what I see. Anytime I've ever experienced that, it's simply comfort on one hand, but also terrible, like you say, that there's so much negativity that it's not comfortable. But and then that exchange of energy has to finally get to the point of when it can really change, and that's your decision. That's interesting. It seems like Jenny's been through that. I know I have been through that as well.
Yeah, me too. I had to also distance myself from a lot of friends I grew up with that were best friends of mine, just for different reasons and different interests, and you grow apart. But it is interesting how you feel almost obligated every time I would visit home again, obligated to have to see them again, or if they would write me. And this happened to me recently when I was back home for Christmas. Sometimes just write me to just want to know, just want to gossip about life, and I just don't like gossiping. And so it's just funny how you see those types of people. I don't know, life takes you in different routes, and you don't necessarily have to see them again,
Yeah.
if you don't feel like you're being fulfilled with that friendship.
It's a weird feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Jenny says, I had a friendship end 2 years ago. It was a very strange thing for me. Same as what you were saying. Sometimes I think a friend is for a certain limited time, for a purpose. Sometimes finite friendships can be weaponized when it ends, which is terrible. Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to lift this up. but the part of that I think we needed to talk about, and especially because of the we're in that shadow phase, and we have to look at the dark and the light, and we've got to take stock in, are there any friendships or so-called relationships that are weighing too heavy on us, that are keeping us from flying. We just went through a freedom, intention, and now we're in an air sign. We're flying. We're taking off. We're launching. So we've got to look into that shadow. So yeah, in your journals, if there is anything, just be honest with yourselves. Is there any relationship that we can take a moment to do that? And of course, we're welcome to share. I know it gets a little tricky being on camera and sharing something that intimate that you're worried that someone would see if you're not ready to have those conversations. But in your journal, is there something we need to release, something we need to consider releasing? Maybe this isn't the time to do it, but it's time to cast an eye on it and really watch, to see it in a different facet, a different light.
Should we write this down or should we share?
If you want to share, you're more than welcome to, but definitely write it down. I want us to come away with a couple of bullet points tonight to work through the entire moon phase, and this being one of them. One to release.
So something to release about our lives, about ourselves that we don't necessarily want right now.
Yeah. In regards to friendship, is it a person or is it in something within ourselves? Is it, a way that we're showing up with a friendship that maybe we can do better?
So I want to share mine. And this is going back to why I was feeling down today and after my friends visiting. So it's kind of going through things of the weekend and the conversations and different we had, not that different, but just how it wasn't really necessarily feeling like I could have in-depth conversations and feel a deepened friendship with my best friend growing up. And I was feeling kind of down about it. And something I noticed and I wrote down and actually burned in the fire to release is my insecurities about my personality sometimes. So sometimes I'm very insecure about when I speak up about something I'm really passionate about. For example, this copywriting business and retreat business I want to launch this year. I get insecure around people that I've seen in a while or even people I don't know. Instead, I should feel confident and feel in my own skin and feel great about speaking about it. And so that's something, I guess, in regards to friendship as well, because you want to surround yourself with friends who will help uplift you and feel like you should feel confident about doing whatever it is that makes you feel your highest self in life. And so I wrote that down about not feeling so insecure about these things and not feeling so insecure about when I speak up, even with people I don't know. And just releasing that and feeling more confident and feeling more inspired and empowered to attract those right people in my life.
I think what you're doing is fantastic. And I think what you're doing is inspirational and exciting and very happy to be a part of it. And I want to thank you for allowing that and your friendship.
Thank you. Thank you, Amber.
So those of you that don't know, Christine has, well, I'll let you explain the business, but we're partnering together for a retreat. And that is part of what she's talking about. And yeah, it's been a beautiful, beautiful, it's just started, but it's been amazing so far.
So, Christine, I'd like to speak to you just for a second. Something that I do for the new moon is draw a moon card. And this might speak to you. The one that I drew was I forgive and let go with loving ease. And this is it. And what it does, the message behind this is the openono. Okay, the Hawaiian ritual for forgiveness.
Yes.
And use it to inspire.
Ho'oponopono.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. No, I'm not saying it right. Okay, but it's to inspire healing, transform resentment into unconditional love. And it's simply, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and thank you. And you can use that with yourself or your friends, or I just like that's going to be my focus this month is the forgiveness of myself. Even before I drew the card, I was actually thinking that. It was like I'm stepping into my power, and even though I've worked so hard on myself for so many years, I still feel I need to work on my forgiveness of myself for some of the actions that I've taken and the things I've done. And I thought, how appropriate. I love the way the universe works. And thank you. So hopefully maybe that might help you out.
Thank you, Kathy. I love that. That's beautiful. I've actually heard about that recently, this Hawaiian ritual. And I'm going to start practicing it as well this month. That'll help me definitely release and forgive and love myself.
Yes.
I've had some pretty amazing experiences with that process. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had somebody move in upstairs that took out all the carpet and put in hardwood floors, and he's a big guy, and I can hear, every step, but I can hear when he turns over in bed, I can hear him sneeze, and he would leave the television on really loud all night long. And, at first it just enraged me. And I started at night when I wanted to go to bed and the TV was so loud, and I start saying that prayer until I fell asleep. And within 2 weeks, the volume on the TV started getting lower and lower. And it's been several years now, and he hasn't left the TV on in a long time. There were other things that he was doing. He'd go into rages at his animals, and he'd cuss and yell and just be really horrible. And he hasn't done that in a long time. And he was never friendly with me. And he has started saying hello to me first when I see him out in the parking lot. And I've got other stories about other people, my daughter, my grandchildren, that when something's going on in their lives that I find worrisome or troublesome or, conflict between us, there's just a lot of things that have changed. My 2 granddaughters used to fight with each other a lot. And when I started saying this prayer for them, like every day, like for 5 or 10 minutes every day, within a few weeks, they quit fighting, and they're really good friends now. And it's been probably 5 years since I started doing it. And I still, but I can tell when I stop for a while, I can see things don't go as smoothly in their lives as they do when I am in a practice of, like, I'll set a meditation timer and say 5 minutes for each person in the family. And anyway, I could go on, but you get the idea. Been pretty amazing.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's wonderful. We'll
That's
share that with
beautiful to see
everyone.
Immediate
Yeah, we'll
outcomes.
share that with everyone. We did that in It's been several months ago in an intention, and I forget which one. Do you remember, Kathy? Does anybody remember?
It seems like it was September, October, something like that. It was, yeah. It had to have been.
I want to say it was the balance one, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's time to share that again. I think that's very important with our relationship with ourselves and establishing those relationships or working with these friendships.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't an overnight change. You know, some of it took weeks, some of it took months to change. But I've always experienced some shift in a relationship where there's some conflict and I focus and do that prayer. I've always seen some resolution happen.
Nice.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
All right, so let's take a second with our journals and do a little word association. It's been a while since we've done this. I think this is a good time. This is going to be, I'm going to say a word, journal if you feel like it, don't if you don't. Some words will stick. Some words will resonate heavily. Some words will cause reactions, but we're going to take just a moment with each word. And then afterwards we'll share what is our words, what do we want to take from this, and what action. We've discussed what we want to release, or we've taken note of what we want to release, but what action we want to take to manifest, because that's really what manifesting is all about. What we want to take with these, from these words. Okay. Relations. And we'll just take a couple of breaths with each one. Growth. Networks. Witness. Groups. Genius. Innovation. Influence. Inspiration. and communication. And that's the end of the exercise. So I'd like to all of us share a little about what came up and what we want to take away from that. In putting this intention together, there were 4 choice words. One of them I mentioned now, but not all of them. 4 choice words in working with not only Aquarius energy, and taking recommendations from others, and combining into this manifestation, alchemy of friendship. And that is taking the throat chakra into consideration, communication, friendship, and choices. So those were the overarching themes and thoughts that we will keep discussing and bringing up this month. But yeah. All right. Yeah. What did you feel?
I didn't feel as much as I was in my head because I guess using, I didn't have the prompt to be in the feeling of it. So I wasn't in that space. And so it actually came a little easier for me. The words did, because so much of the time I am in my feelings. It's like, this was a little different. A lot of, I was trying to think if there's like different things that I can put together, but really, a lot of them were different words, that there's not even a unity between just the expansion from this, but it felt good. So I guess that's a feeling.
Jenny mentioned something that oddly the word networks just brought up negative feelings. The other all had productive, positive associations. And I kind of agree with the same thing. I skipped over that completely. The networks, and coming up with all the different terminology for groups of people who work together and thrive. What are some that come to mind? You know, tribe has been used over and over, and is a good one. I like it. It's almost overused, but I do like it. It's nice. Community-based.
See, that's what I had, community and growth for network. I didn't see it anything negative. Genius, if anything, would have been, which of course that's just a knock on my insecurities. You know,
What, that being like ego-driven?
Yes, but the rest of them were, it felt good. I mean,
genius to me, I immediately went to like wisdom. So, and right underneath it, I wrote mentor, like using, you know, just the wisdom of, you know, we've been talking about like the female archetype, and, you know, how we come together in community and serving each other, and how that learning process. So I saw genius in a different light, but I could see where it could
when
be.
ego steps in.
Yeah.
I didn't write that down. I wrote down smart, elevated, and outstanding, because that's what I feel, because I really am trying to move out of the place of ego.
For me, genius was about divine inspiration.
Ooh, that's good.
Bringing something in beyond me that expresses through me. The times that I've experienced that feels like those genius moments.
Oh, that's nice.
That does feel good.
Yeah.
Relations reminds me of the Native American expression Mitakuyasin, all my relations. And, you know, it's a reminder that we are in relationship with all of creation. And, you know, to live, I feel like it's a parallel or an overlapping concept with that idea of mindfulness. To be mindful, to show up, you know, conscious, fully present in this moment. I guess the word network for me brings up kind of like the business lingo, and it's about how to use people and, you know, how can I use the people I know? That's kind of where I went with the word network. I'm going to stop talking because my dog's barking again, so I'm going to mute myself.
Share came up. I kept writing the word share down, and one, that's what we're doing. I've said that a lot lately in several different meetings, and especially over the last week, with not only work, but I mean, job stuff, but in, you know, just sharing with friends, I keep saying that word and it keeps sticking somehow. So even with the job, there were some issues coming up recently, and I'm like, I thought we were working together as a team and that we would be sharing this experience and working together. And yeah, I don't know. It's such a simple word, but for some reason it's really present right now. But expansion, that's one with, for me, the relations, I had oneness and expansion. That out of the gate was my favorite, and it was really hard to get off of that. Like I was stuck in that very first word was the one that really kept me in that mindset.
I like seeing the patterns. I'm like a pattern person. So it's interesting you say that about the share, like how you notice it, you know, and how using it in different situations, just to be the awareness of that.
Right. And then social anxiety came up again, and that was part of the network. And I don't think it was the network. I think maybe, I know it was the groups. When we said groups, I immediately put social anxiety, but I think the network, it was starting to bubble a little maybe. And it solidified into social anxiety, which I've mentioned already tonight. And partial reason is, speaking of those, it's been coming up again, of going to something last night, into a party, into a situation that was so uncomfortable and so weird. And I feel so centered and together most of the time. And I walk into a place and I knew no one, which not a big deal. I'm a pretty social person, but it was just that immediate, everything was weird to me. Everything was off for me. Everything was different for me. And no one was nice, or it felt that way. I mean, this was the interpretation. And it was just this crazy social anxiety. And then I realized I'm looking around and I'm surrounded with beauty in one regard, visual beauty, but strange feelings of, and those of you that know me, you know that I don't eat meat. So I was like surrounded with like all these dead animals, and that's not even a huge deal. That was just like another piece of that puzzle of like, oh my God, I don't even know what to talk about. I don't even know where to go. I don't know what to say anymore. It was really strange. Then I saw the host with a beautiful photo with Barack Obama and this gorgeous interaction. And I'm like, damn, all right, you guys are cool. I just need to have a conversation with you. I need to find that connection. But it never happened. It was not there. And I think it was because the social anxiety already took over. I did not manifest a friend last night.
Social anxiety.
You're still in freedom zone last night. We're moving into friendship now.
But maybe you were planting seeds and you just have to wait a while to see what sprouts.
That's true.
True.
You may see some of those people again.
That's true.
In a different context.
My dog was barking when you did that part, and when you said groups, I thought you said roots. Anyway, so grounded, and roots feed us, and being fed came up for me about roots, but I guess that's not really relevant since that's not what you said.
I don't know. It's interesting because we can put that into the context of friendship as well. Those that root, those that ground us, those that feed us. Yeah, I think it's beautiful.
Yeah. There's a Native American expression of, is it growing corn? In other words, is it feeding you? About, is this time to let go of this? Does it still feed you? Is it growing corn? That is a expression that comes to me often when I think about, why am I doing this? And I still need to be doing this in my life, or, maybe the time has passed for this activity or, this way of living, or whatever it is.
That's awesome. Yeah. Is it growing corn? I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Jenny says manifesting friendship is hard. It's interesting that it's okay. I started to just pop this out. I don't know. Let me ask your opinion. Personally, the older I get, the harder it is to establish good, deep relationships with someone new. To find those magical connections.
Yeah. That's what I feel here. I'm just like, what? That's where I get the insecurities. I'm like, is it me? Is it my personality? Is it the way I speak? Maybe I'm weird. So I totally.
But that's what the Aquarius energy is all about. You need to be weird. Embrace your weirdness. That uniqueness is what makes you so beautiful.
Yeah. Who wants to be all the same? Exactly.
So as we age, we start building those walls, and then those walls keep those friendships from occurring, those connections occurring.
I totally see that. It's very hard to find those deep, inspiring, beautiful friendships the older I get.
And even if you don't have more walls, as people get older, I think it's typical for most people to get kind of more rigid and stuck in their ways, and so when things change, just if you think about the seasons, and there's that fallow period, things die in the fall, and in the winter there's this sense of nothing's going on, nothing's happening, everything's dead, everything's dormant. But things are happening underneath the surface, and so the ability to face the unknown, or the emptiness, or the space between friends, without fear and anxiety. And I know that's a challenge for me, and I know I'm not the only one that finds that challenging. That's kind of the tendency for most of us, is facing the unknown or facing the emptiness. And so I think even if it's not you, we have a tendency to blame ourselves, and maybe it's not always something you're doing. Maybe it's that as people get older, they do tend to get kind of more stuck in their ways. And so the fact that it's harder might not be your fault.
The space between us, that's huge. That's big right there. The space between the friendship. That's really, Crystal Moon, that's it. You hit the core of what we're talking about. The space between people, that's where the friendships occur. Wow, yeah.
I think you heard something I didn't really say, but I get what you mean, and I think your thought is more profound than mine.
I thought you said it. I got it from you. Oh, yeah, that's big. Okay, so we've got to take, okay, manifesting is all about taking those action steps, figuring out what it is we want and what action we're going to take, whether it is releasing or actual action steps to grow our intention. So tonight, I'd love for it to be right here with all of us, that we can all bear witness to each other, to work together to do this, to say it out in the universe. But what is it with this intention do we want throughout this month? Is there anything we'd like to change or tweak in relationships? Is there something we want to manifest within a particular relationship, or just in general of growing our network? I said that for you, Jenny. Is there something we want to grow or expand upon, or how do we want to show up?
So I've been thinking about this a lot, actually. And at the beginning of the year, I worked on choosing a word that I really wanted to focus on. And it's alignment, or align, or some form of aligning. And so that's my overall focus for the year. And so every intention goes into that. And I've also been focusing a lot on love, and actually reframing things that I say that can be a challenge. Like, because we all find ourselves saying that something's hard, or something's this, or something's that. And just recently I had an experience where I was really dreading it. And before I went, I infused it with love. And I just said, this is going to be wonderful. No matter what the outcome is going to be wonderful. And so this month with the friendship, I want to, my 4 things are to be in alignment, playfulness, because I find that I'm so much better when I'm having fun and playing, and that's my natural, what I need to be. And so I'm very serious. I'm like the most serious person, with the most playfulness that together, and finding that balance. But and then the forgiveness, I'm committed to doing the hope. How do y'all say it?
Well, I could say it until you were doing
that.
I know. Wait, say it, Crystal Moon.
Ho'oponopono.
Ho'oponopono.
Thank you.
Ho'oponopono.
So I'm committed to doing that every day, and that's where I'm going to start with, and then love, and then something I also incorporated was every single morning I say something wonderful is going to happen today, and I cannot wait to see what it is. So the expectation of goodness infused in everything, from our friendships to the ones that we can grow now to the ones of the past, and just to really expect greatness and goodness.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful. I think I'm going to also take on the Ho'oponopono, because one of my action steps I want to take to grow and to manifest deeper friendships and relationships is what we're talking about, communication, and I guess activating or opening up or clearing my throat chakra, because I have those insecurities. So, and even though I speak actually in public all the time, I still feel within deep down that there's still, I'm still insecure about it, about how I've taught, about how I spoke or what I'm saying. Was it effective? Was it inspirational? So I want to do this Ho'oponopono, beautiful prayer. And then I want to also maybe do something every morning, like positive affirmations, like Kathy, you do, or just saying something beautiful, like I speak truth, I speak confidence, or something along those lines. And yeah, if you all have any other advice for me, I would be open to that.
Well, the reason I started getting involved with this circle was to expand connections around spiritual, like-minded people. My dog always wants my attention when I'm on the phone or in a video chat.
You're talking to her too.
Yeah, so I'm throwing the ball for her. I'm sure you guys can see me throwing the ball. Anyway, so that's an action I want to continue as I get to know you guys and learn to connect with you, and also connect with myself more deeply around my spiritual practice. I get up every morning, and I do this when I'm walking my dog in the morning. Actually, I connect with the universe flowing in through the top of my head, and the earth flowing up through the bottoms of my feet and filling me with energy and life, and I just say, I love life. I love life, and I bless my day and bless it with love, and seeing everything happen with love and in a loving way for that day. Wherever I'm going, whoever I think I'm going to be interacting with, or, just even people I don't really, know that I'm going to be interacting. Maybe I'm going to go to the store, maybe, whatever I think I'm going to be doing. Just imagine my day being filled with love, and that everything that happens that day is blessed with divine love. So those are my actions.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Mine, one is to release negative habits of relationships, getting sucked in, those obligations, the gossip, Christine, that you spoke of. Yes, releasing all of that and walking away, and without guilt, without worry, just silently walk away. It's okay. It doesn't mean that it has to be that way forever. Maybe things will change one day, but that's the release aspect. The chemical steps for manifestation of this will be collaboration and trust. And the trust I just threw in last minute, Christine, while you were talking, because I think everybody feels that insecurity that you're talking about. And there was something, it was a conversation within the last couple of weeks. It's been distant enough I forget who was involved and the actual topic, but I remember someone saying, and everyone agreeing, oh, I think I know where it was now. There was alcohol involved. But I remember someone agreeing, or everyone agreeing, that we go through life, and I don't care if you're CEO of a company, I don't care how powerful, influential, I don't care what your path is. Deep down, there's always, does anyone believe what I'm saying? Am I a fake? I'm just like going through life trying to figure this out. Am I going to be uncovered as a fake and a fraud and a phony? Mm-hmm. We all still kind of feel that because we're all still that inner child. We're still listening to those voices, and we're still, no matter how much experience and wisdom we have, we still can feel that. We can still allow ourselves to feel that. So trust. And that's why I threw trust in there. It's trusting myself, my gut, my guidance, my sources that come from above. It's trusting the system being that alchemical connections of friendship. And trusting they're there for a reason and to flourish. Only one other thing I want to say there, and a thought that came up was, discussing that party situation and that social anxiety situation. There was a moment in there, I'm looking around the room, ended up in the corner just talking to my husband like this. I'm like, why are we here? Let's leave. But there was that moment of what we're doing here, showing up with specific topics to discuss and in-depth and heartfelt, and the good and the bad and the ugly of it, is so much more comfortable than in a room talking about the weather. There was a moment in that party where I thought, God, let's just have a beautiful topic that we can all sit down and discuss. And I was thinking of this, knowing what our topic was going to be today. Let's talk about friendship. Dude, over there, hey, what do you know about friendship? How are you showing up to your friends? I wanted those kind of conversations, and I did not embrace the uniqueness of this Aquarius energy to do that. But yes, I'm going to fold that into the month as well.
And how timely that you went to that party right before this talk, so that you could kind of reflect now in retrospect how you want to fold it into the month, Yes.
I didn't think of it at that time. I mean, it was literally just, God, if we all just had a topic to discuss, I'd feel so much more comfortable. Could we just sit in a circle and talk about this? That's how I feel comfortable. That's where big crowds, or there's still small intimate gatherings, but that's where it doesn't feel like social anxiety. It feels beautiful and with purpose and intent and deep and spiritual and nurturing, where just sitting around a dead pig drinking alcohol didn't.
Yeah, exactly. There's no depth in that.
And I'm using terrible analogy of that, and almost in a judgmental way, and I didn't mean to. It's that's not who I am. That's not where I am. And it felt inauthentic. Yes.
That's a big one right there, is that inauthentic. I think that as we age and mature, or not even age has anything to do with it, but as we become enlightened with where we're going and what we're doing, we need to be more in alignment with that, with our authentic self. And those kind of conversations have never felt great to me, even though, at the salon, I start off with that. You know, any conversation is, you know, very superficial, but then if I can get them talking soon enough, then we can have that relationship that I crave. And maybe that's my personal agenda, but it is what it is. Because that feels really good to me. And yeah, I definitely love our new moon chats.
Well, thank you all. Anybody want to add anything before we go? Have we forgotten anything? Oh, wait, I know something we forgot. So, and this is quick. This is just a reminder. Okay, so we said that 4:03 p.m. is the peak of the new moon. That is tomorrow. That's Eastern time. It is also apogee, which means that the moon is the furthest away in the ecliptical rotation. So if things are feeling distant and odd, if things are feeling weird, even within, you know, our topic or anything going on, no, that's why. It is distant, it is away. But the full moon, we're going to have another, it's going to be perigee. So it's going to be back to that big, beautiful, where it is the closest to the earth in the ecliptical rotation. So we're going to have another super moon, basically. So this is really going to be very powerful, and it's going to grow. So those action steps that we take, let's just keep them in our forethought, keep in communication and working together on this. And on Tuesday, the 5th, it's the Chinese New Year. So it's Year of the Pig. So we didn't talk about that at all. And I know we're kind of over time, but it's the Year of the Pig. The Year of the Pig, bottom line, it's sign of wealth and abundance. And this is our time. So, yeah, I know. Yeah. Okay. So thank you all for your beauty, your wisdom. I appreciate each and every one of you. The wild spirit in me sees, honors, and respect the wild spirit in each and every one of you. Oh, wait a minute. Before we blow out, Jenny just asked a question. Can you mention the stones? Yes. Oh my God, this whole time I did not go through the socks. I always do socks. I never forget socks. As soon as we thought we're done, we'll be fast. The stones, yes. Blue agate, blue lace agate. Thank you for the reminder, Jenny. Blue lace agate or aquamarine. Those are stones. The color is blue, preferably a lighter, but we're not going to be picky on that. The mantra, my uniqueness is my gift to others, and it's time to shine. The crescent moon is the peak of this work. So you're going to get a lot out of the crescent moon, which is coming up. That's over the next few days. So this is these action steps. Wednesdays are going to be really good days for us this entire month. Our animals are wolf and hawk. Our number is 8. Christine, you were talking about the 00. The first thing I saw was 00 on its side. It's 8. It's infinity.
8.
Yes.
Wow.
Blue is the color of truth, loyalty, and wisdom. I love it. We're in an air element. East is our direction. The metal is brass. The planet is Mercury, and that is because of the communication aspect of it. We're in Aquarius right now. We're not even going to go there. We're over time. But Mercury for the entire month is going to be our planet. Our food is lemon. Crystal moon, get ready for that. We got lemons coming up at our full moon gathering. Incense is frankincense. Our essential oil, plant, herbs, all of that together is peppermint. Okay. Thanks for that reminder, Jenny. All right.
Thank you, Amber.
You are welcome. I love you all. And I don't know, we could blow this out and howl at the moon if you guys are willing. I'm going to howl. Ready?
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Happy
Love
new
it.
moon.
Happy new moon.